If you're on the receiving end of this letter, it was a personal letter to a church that was planted several years prior by the renowned Apostle Paul. All kinds of people are sitting there in Thessalonica. In fact, the city is now referred to as, when you're in Greece, it's Thessaloniki. It's spelled, instead of N-I-C-A, it's N-I-K-I. It's the second largest city in Greece. It's a seaport. And when you pass through the Aegean Sea in Bible days, as is today, it's one of the busiest seaports in southern Europe today. In Bible days, it was one of the main seaports for commerce, and it was a military center. So if you're going to try to conquer Greece, you don't want to overlook Thessalonica because they're so central. Seaports, cities that are seaports are wealthy cities because of the commerce. But yet there was persecution that arose in Thessalonica, and the basis of it was that Paul had preached there 3 successive weeks, and a riot broke out in the city. Why? Because the Jewish people were jealous of the amount of Greeks or Gentiles that was coming to faith in Christ, and the number of Jews that were accepting Christ as their Messiah. And so the Jewish ones who didn't respond to the gospel were quite jealous. And so you know what they caused? They created a riot in the whole city. Now you got to be a pretty powerful preacher after 3 weeks to get a riot in the city. That's good stuff. The riot was based on the fact that the claims of the Jews was that this Jesus that these people worship, they claim him to be king. How could he be king and Caesar is king? Obviously, what they're trying to do is overthrow Caesar. And so they created that thinking that was erroneous to create all kinds of uproar and mayhem and disturbance in Thessalonica. And they succeeded, and the persecution was still going on years later. The question I pose to the text is this. When Paul said that, hey guys, your faith is growing more and more, it leads us to conclude that faith can grow. The ability to trust in God can grow. And so I have to ask the question, how does faith grow? And the text gives me 4 big answers that I can't circumvent or overlook. And the hope as I go through these answers is that you will see yourself there alongside of the people that were the recipients of this letter. There was a single mom struggling to raise her kids, but she's moving along, and Paul was saying, I see your faith growing more and more. There was a guy who was unemployed, lost his job, maybe the 4th time around in 2 years. And the apostle was commenting, your faith is growing more and more. Your ability to trust in God is growing more and more. There's a business guy who has 100 employees, and he's thinking, how do I need to expand my business so I can maintain the proper salary for my employees? There was a person who wanted to, he's chopping at the bit to get involved in ministry. He feels like, I got a calling in my life, I must do it. And Paul was referencing all these kinds of people in this group that comprised this church at Thessalonica, and he's saying, your faith is growing more and more. Question, how does faith grow? Answer number 1, faith grows through pivotal circumstances. I use the fancy term pivotal circumstances, but what I really want to say is faith grows when you're going through hell. Anybody in this room going through hell, difficulty, torment, uncertainty, struggles, problems beyond your control? Anybody in this room, or is it just me? Well, welcome, folks. You are in a perfect environment to grow your faith. Most people think erroneously that faith grows when everything's perfect. Job is perfect. I just got my 5th raise in the past 5 days. I just, and with bonuses and perks, I get a chance to fly in the corporate jet just to go home. The dog is right. The dog loves me. The cat loves me. The neighbor's cats even bring food to my cat. The wife is fine. The husband's fine. Kids are growing well. Everything's fine. Car payments made. In fact, car is paid off. Mortgage paid off. I'm living large. Great time for faith to grow. Guess what? It'll never happen. Faith grows through pivotal circumstances. And here, this church of Thessalonica, Paul's commenting about them. He's saying, guys, look at this. Your faith, according to verse 3, is growing more and more. In verse 4, he's giving us clarity. Therefore, among God's churches, we boast about your perseverance and faith in all the persecution and trials you're enduring. See, their faith was growing in the midst of persecution. Your faith will grow through pivotal circumstances.